皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today, guys, what I'm going to be talking about today, well, the topic today is unfortunately nothing educational nor life-changing or anything. I'm not too sure if I've ever been able to make a podcast that's life-changing. That's not very humble, but anyways, today's topic, basically what I'm going to be talking about today, is just me complaining, I guess, talking about something that I'm always really frustrated about. I guess it is a little bit connected to some of my trauma, but maybe it's something that you could relate to too. So I just wanted to share with you this story. I'm just a little bit frustrated and a little bit, what should I say? It's something that happens to me a lot, and I really don't like it that much. And if you have a similar experience, it'd be great if you can let me know in the comments. If you can share some of these stories together, it'd be great. So anyways, it's actually again about my tea ceremony training. And I need to make it very clear before I start talking is that my instructor really does not have any intentions of trying to hurt me, or try to say anything bad things about me. Of course, she is not that kind of person. She's a very honest person. She is very strict, but she is never strict in any irrational ways. She's not the typical, what should I say, bad superior, bad senpai kind of person. Whenever she is strict, she always has a logical meaning to when she's strict and when she's angry. So that's the reason why I respect her and love her very much. However, there's one thing that she always says to me that I really, really don't like. And it's because I think I talked about this before, but when I had the problem with my team members, especially with Kazu, I just tend to overthink, And recently I think I'm going to be taking a different podcast about this, but there's this scientific definition called highly sensitive person, or like HSP or something. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this before. It's like 1 out of 5 people are really basically highly sensitive to what other people think of themselves, or what other people do, or what other people are experiencing, because they relate to it too much. They have too much compassion, basically. And I was doing a HSP test on the internet, and I just completely found out that I am definitely included in that list. And basically, becoming a highly sensitive person, it could be from the timing that you were born, or it could be the timing once you were growing up, from the experiences you were growing up. And especially if you grow up in an environment where you really couldn't feel assured, if you couldn't feel safe, you tend to grow such a personality. And as I've explained before, the family, the household that I grew up in, definitely was not an environment that can give me a lot of safety, right? Mental safety. And of course, probably because my original, character, my personality kind of got combined and turned me into this Shogo, So anyways, I guess to my sensei, as I was talking about, in my previous podcast about the wabi-sabi and me not understanding it at all, I guess I tend to act a little bit strangely to a regular Japanese person. I need to start from here. I really, really don't like this idea in the first place. Because who the heck is a regular Japanese person? I've never met a regular Japanese person before. Who is that? What is the criteria for a regular Japanese person in the first place? And if there is a general Japanese person image in the first place, if there is something like that, I can kind of list up the things, I don't know, polite or whatever it is. I've never met such a person before in the first place. So I don't like this idea to begin with, but my sensei always says, whenever I act a little bit strangely from her point of view, she always says, well, Shogo-san is American. And I really, really do not like her saying this to me. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong. I am proud. I am very, very proud that I grew up in the US for 6 years when I was in Michigan. I loved my experience there. I enjoyed every second there. The time I spent with my friends, this time I went to school, the learning that I did, the house that I lived in, the sleepovers, the video games that we played, the sports that we did. the friends that I still keep in touch with, I loved being in America and I'm very honored and proud to have lived there. But at the same time, I do not like it at all when someone defines me by a label. Now, especially because when I was bullied in elementary school, when I came back to Japan, I've talked about this many times, right? One of the words that a lot of people used to make fun of me, to discriminate me, was American, because I acted differently, because I tend to stand out a lot, because I tend to say my opinions a lot, and because I tend to smile a lot. Whenever let's take a picture, I would have a big smile on my face. Like Japanese people don't usually do that kind of thing, which is not true, but back at that time, that was what people made fun of me of. And I guess I do have a sort of trauma, but I really, really don't like it when because I think for you guys listening to this podcast, I'm pretty sure you would have an image that I am a more Japanese person than most Japanese people are. It's a very weird thing to say this myself, but I'm very confident. I know what, I'm gonna be straightforward. I'm really confident that I'm much more polite than most Japanese people are, to be honest. And I really hope that my friends who are listening to this podcast right now, I hope you can agree with me. I hope you believe I'm a polite person. Yeah. But, literally, there are terrible crimes happening in Japan. There are people who will literally shove you, on the trains, talk on the phones, and basically do all the taboos I've explained in my videos. There are people who would proudly do that, without any hesitation. And those people are going to be labeled Japanese. And me, training in Iaido, tea ceremony, no theater, shakuhachi, kenjutsu, loving Japanese traditional so much, wearing kimono every single day, learning about manners and rules and etiquettes, and studying about the history and culture. And I am not called a Japanese person in a tea room. Wait, I was born in Japan. My parents are Japanese. I think I am the closest person to what generally a Japanese person would be like, right? Again, I am proud of my experience living in America. If it wasn't in this texture, in this sentence, that my sensei calls me, I would be very happy to be called American. Like when I was talking with Gaijin Goomba, again, I sometimes have Zoom calls with him just to discuss about some topics. Whenever he says, Shogo, when I talk with you, your English is, first of all, really great. Your mindset is really great. I really respect you. You're a great guy. And just talking with you, I seriously, you have the mindset of a Japanese person. You are purely Japanese. But at the same time, when I talk with you, I really feel I'm just talking with a fellow American. And that makes me really, really happy. That is like one of the words that can make me the happiest ever, to be honest. But I hope you can understand. I'm not saying that I hate the side of Americans. I love it and I'm honored. But when someone says it in this texture, it sounds like they're making a wall in front of me and saying that you can't come anywhere closer than this because you have this label on your shoulder. You got this tag on your shoulder saying American. I'm sorry, but no matter how long you train in tea ceremony, I'm sorry, but you're not coming any closer than this. I think this happens a lot with race, with skin color, with gender. I bet this happens a lot. But I am experiencing a little bit of different angle, I guess. But I just I'm not the kind of person who gets really frustrated that much or angry, but yeah, out of the very few things that I got frustrated from ever since when I was a child, I was not able to control my emotions that much, and there was a lot of things that would make me angry, of course, like we all were like that, right? But becoming an adult, there's not that many things that would get you really angry, but this is one of the very few things that does. She says, no matter how hard I work to try to understand the concept of wabi-sabi, no matter how much I train to try to understand what other people are thinking or how to do the procedures beautifully, every time I make a small mistake, my sensei always says, well, Shogo-san is American. What Again, I love my sensei, and she has no bad intentions. She is purely Japanese, born and brought up in Japan. The only country that she knows is Japan. And I think she's saying in a good way too, that I'm a little bit different from other Japanese people, and I probably am. And I probably am. But I really, really don't like other people defining who I am, even if I act a little bit differently, and I probably am. I hate it when people define me by a label. And the label in this case is American. But it could be the other way. If someone labels me as a Japanese in this context, I would probably be as frustrated as I am right now. And I really hope that more people, whenever they see someone that does something a little bit special, or a little bit differently, or a little bit unique, they would say that, oh, this is Shogo, and not this is American, or not this is Japanese, this is Shogo. And I know this isn't easy. This kind of stuff is happening all over the world, but I just wanted to share with you this experience to say that I am definitely another person on this planet suffering with the same problems. And I want to make an oath to say that whenever I ever start teaching in training, tea ceremony, or whatever it is, tea iaido, or all the other things, that no matter who I will teach in the future, I will love to teach the people around the world, by the way, if they're interested. I'm never, ever gonna be telling them. If I, for example, have students all over the world, from Europe, from Asia, from America, for example, I'm never going to be saying, when I see their procedures of tea ceremony, I'm never ever going to be saying, "Oh, you're doing that because you're from Europe, right?" Yeah. Oh yeah, that's typically Asian. I don't know. That's typically Indian, or that's typically American. I don't know. That's typically Chinese, or I am never going to be saying that. I will make a big promise with all of you listening to this that I'm never going to be hurting anyone with these kind of words, because I'm definitely hurt every single time I go to my training. So then everyone, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know that there's a lot of people studying Japanese willing to come to Japan to travel, study, or work, or even train in our traditional culture and such. However, I am very afraid that Japan will not be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future, because we're facing a lot of social problems, we are losing our traditional culture, and the younger generations who are supposed to be carrying on the good things about Japan are dying because of all the social issues being shoved against them. So I really want to dedicate my life to try to make Japan a better place. I want to try to preserve traditional culture, evolve traditional culture, help out the younger generations so they can have a brighter future, and try to solve the social problems along the way. And to do that, nearest goal I have is to achieve 2 million subscribers by January 2023 on my main channel, so all your likes and comments will help to boost my videos to new viewers who've never seen my channel before, so it'd be great if you can help me out. Alright? And all of our other things, other businesses, selling merchandise, stage performances, challenging yourself in the tourism industry again, all of these things are moving at once, so I hope you can look forward to our future information. It's getting really, really excited. I just posted a video on my membership yesterday, but yesterday, from the day I'm recording this, by the way, we just did a simulation, I guess, of how the experience would work. We rented the building for a while, and we did kind of like how would the experience would work and everything, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, so I hope you can look forward to that. Eventually, if we finally complete the experience, we'll definitely be making a full video introducing it, so yeah, I hope you can look forward to it. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.